This month we're going to be talking about archetypes, and we're going to be focusing especially on masculine archetypes and how they can help us heal things that have been damaged inside us. We're just going to take it one section at a time, 1 week at a time. So I hope you will follow me on this little adventure into masculine archetypes. Welcome to the Stories Cafe podcast, the espresso version of Stories Cafe, offering quick, enriching moments of reflection on literature, cinema, archetypes, philosophy, and the art of living deliberately. Just like a perfectly crafted espresso at a Parisian cafe, each episode is a brief pause for you to submerge yourself in something invigorating and fulfilling. I'm Annette, course creator, internationally published author, and wanderer at heart. So cozy up as we explore the powerful world of stories, how they shape our lives, and teach us the art of living deliberately. What we're going to be talking about today is a subject that's close to my heart, what I call seasonal living. And by seasonal living, I don't mean what types of vegetables to eat. I mean, what is the best way to live in harmony with the seasons? And particularly, we're going to be looking at how can we use the masculine archetypes to facilitate healing. That pandemic damaged something inside of us, I think. And I think it is appropriate, it's an interesting thing to look at. What do you do if something inside of you has been damaged? I often talk about how stories and the concept of the hero's journey can help us heal and find courage to go through almost anything in our lives, because it gives us a different perspective. So the perspective we're going to be looking at is particularly the masculine archetypes. And I'm going to explain just really briefly what archetypes are and what masculine archetypes are. I'm not the only one, but I divide the year into 4 seasons, which is, I think, the normal thing to do. It sounds as if it's something I invented. But looking at those very important dates where the light and darkness shift. And you've heard me talk about this, some of you, many times, that those 4 sections of the year, or from we recently passed the spring equinox. So we have 3 months from about the 22nd of March, where we have the spring. And then around the 22nd of June, we have the summer solstice, and we get 3 months of summer. And then around the 22nd of September, we have the autumn equinox, so we get 3 months of autumn. And around the 22nd of December, we have the winter solstice and 3 months of winter. And I think it is very useful to get more energy and strength and stamina and courage in our lives to live according to those seasons, but also to look at the various stories that have something, and particularly the various archetypes. So I think, why do we talk about that? The masculine archetypes this time of year, because this time of year is what we call the Yang season. From the spring equinox until the fall equinox is a predominantly masculine season. And I will explain more about that. Those of you who want to hear more about that, I am giving the free bonus masterclass for the summer solstice, where I will talk more about all these things. What are archetypes? The shortest possible version is that archetypes are fascinating elementary life energies, and they have to do with stories. Where do we encounter the archetypes? We encounter them in cultural works because, as Jung said, they are the sort of inherited sum total of all the experiences of mankind, basic images in our unconscious that contain a tremendous power and energy. And they're sort of almost passed subliminally, in the sense that when we are born, Jung says, we know about the archetypes, but we find them in cultural works, from classical myths to modern movies. And that means, just to take an example from the song lyric so that it becomes very clear what I mean. It's a song by Bruce Springsteen called Highway Patrolman. And it starts with these lines: "My name is Joe Roberts. I work for the state. I'm a sergeant out of Perrinville, barracks number 8. I always did an honest job, honest as I could. but I got a brother named Frankie, and Frankie ain't no good. Now that's an archetypal story, and it's the archetypal story that we all know, which might start with the lines, once upon a time there was a man who had 2 sons. Do you all know that story? It's an archetypal story. And the thing is that according to Jung, we know this archetype, which it's the archetype that Jung calls the hostile brothers. We know that when we're born with the knowledge of that archetype. And that means that when we then hear these stories, I think the interesting thing is that we don't actually, the Jungian analogy that some of you have heard me recount many times is that if you imagine a cork like you have in a wine bottle in an ocean, the cork corresponds to your conscious ego, that is the part of you that you are conscious of, and the ocean corresponds to the rest of you. And that means there are vast areas of ourselves that we don't have immediate access to. But those areas, and this is my life's work. This is what I live and breathe and sleep and eat, is that stories have access to those layers of us. And when we listen to stories, it's like exercising. When you go out and you say, how does that story of the hostile brothers, how does that exercise my knowledge of deeper parts of me? Well, the same way, if you go out jogging, you don't think about, what does this do to my ligaments and unless you hurt yourself, and my muscles and my connective tissue and all that. It just happens whether you're thinking about it or not. So my point in this, and the reason why I keep coming back to really getting to know archetypes and really becoming it happens whether you're conscious of it or not. But if you are conscious of it, and if you learn how to decode the archetypes, you can use it consciously to make your life deeper. You can use it instead of it using you.
Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your espresso break and learned something new. If you're eager to dive deeper into the world of stories and ideas, be sure to hit the follow button in Spotify or the plus button in Apple Podcasts so that you get each new episode straight to your podcast app. You can also visit us at Stories Cafe. Just go to stories-cafe.com. There you can explore free content for a taste of what we offer, or if you're ready for more, a paid membership unlocks in-depth discussions, full access to our archives, and a vibrant community of fellow story enthusiasts. I am so thrilled to have you here, and I look forward to welcoming you back to the Stories Cafe soon.